Hey, this is Troy from Planet 76. We've got some really good Sixers-focused content coming your way today. Make sure you subscribe to the pod so you can be in the know when we release new content. Enjoy the show. All right, Sixers fans, welcome to another episode of Planet 76 podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Troy. Michael's here with me. As always, this is episode 149 of the podcast. Super excited for this one. We recorded last about a week ago, and so we're kind of getting in that flow again. We were producing content all the time toward the end of the regular season and through the Sixers' short playoff run, but now we're kind of getting back to normal, I guess, kind of on a weekly basis. And so look everywhere for episodes. Instagram, we let you know when episodes are dropping, but YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. Again, this is episode 149. Playoffs are still underway, heating up a little bit in some series, but Sixers are not in the playoffs, and so we have some other stuff to be talking about. And so like tonight in this episode, we're just going to get into kind of what the Sixers are currently looking at with their roster and who's here, who's a free agent, who are some of the names that are being talked about, because that'll be here before you know it. And so we're going to get into that. Michael, how are we feeling over there? It's been almost 2 weeks since Sixers got eliminated. So we're breathing a little different now, but how are we doing?
Are you wearing green too?
I'm wearing black. Green background, though.
It looks like, maybe it's the green tint, but it kind of looks like I'm wearing green. It kind of looks like you're wearing green.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling fine. I'm good. Yep, there we go. I'm feeling good. I'm optimistic. I think we talked about it last week. I'm feeling good. I don't really have too much to complain about as far as Sixers goes. I mean, we pretty much aired out our grievances last week. So moving forward, I'm just looking to free agency. We're going to talk about that a little bit today. I'm looking forward to perhaps, I was going to say trades. I don't know who they're going to trade because, well, the only thing they really could trade is the 16th pick, which we have a month. So we'll have a few more episodes before we talk about the draft and what the Sixers could do. But there's a lot of discussion around the 16th pick. Probably the only thing they can really trade this year, especially because currently I think the only players under contract are Joel Embiid and Ricky Council IV. And I think they have Jeff Doughton Jr. on a two-way deal, so there's that. And then Tyrese Maxey.
I think Paul Reed's under contract one more.
Oh, Paul Reed, I'm sorry. His deal is just non-guaranteed, but he is under contract. And I can't imagine last summer. And here's the thing is, last summer when he signed the contract, everybody was like, there's no way the Sixers don't make it out of the first round next year. There's no way Paul Reed doesn't get his money, because they're going to make it out of the first round. And here we are, a year later. It's actually funny. So, Sunday was Mother's Day. Happy birthday to... not happy birthday. Whoa. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. It was the 1-year anniversary of the Sixers Game 7 loss, which I didn't know until the end of the day, thankfully, because I would have been a little more upset.
It was Mother's Day, yep.
Yes, I totally forgot. Maybe because I just tried so hard to wipe it from my memory. But that was that. And we are here now. So we're going to be looking ahead. We're going to be looking to we're going to be looking ahead to some players the Sixers have that are now free agents. Among them, Buddy Hield, Tobias Harris, Kelly Oubre, Nick Batum, Buddy Hield, Campaign, Kyle Lowry, basically the entire roster. So things are going to be interesting, and we're going to do an episode probably next week of our kind of own rendition of the stay or go, who we think should stay, who we think should go. I think we kind of talked about it a little bit already. I'll save my thoughts. Well, if you follow me on Instagram, you know kind of already where I stand. But we'll definitely dive deeper into that next week. Troy, if you feel free to give any thoughts you want about that. If you want to, don't let me stop you.
The thing that I think I find most interesting about what you just said with the current roster heading into the offseason is, again, it's Embiid, it's Paul Reed, it's Ricky Council,
right.
it's Jeff Doughton Jr. and Tyrese Maxey's coming back, obviously, and they're going to give him money because he deserves that money. And it's almost like, with how crazy college basketball has been over the last couple of years with like the NCAA transfer portal, like there's teams with literally one returner on their roster and then like a whole haul of 10, 11, 12 guys that are coming from elsewhere on their team. And it's almost like Sixers find themselves in a funny situation when free agency strikes. It's going to be like, well, either a lot of guys are going to come back or they're not, and we're going to get some new guys to come in. And so it is interesting to kind of look at that. I mean, I don't remember a year quite like this. As far as, certainly not in the recent, in the Joel Embiid era, kind of even with the flexibility that the Sixers have. Right. So it is kind of exciting. One of my, all right, I got to get on a soapbox a little bit, I think, about something that I've seen rolling around. All right. Didn't even plan to do this, but so a lot of articles you read or see headlines like, okay, this is it for Joel Embiid. One more go-around, one more shot, one more time to get it right. And it's probably the same people that were writing articles last year. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And, they're saying this offseason's gonna make or break. And then, the 2024-2025 season, that's it for Joel Embiid. And, like, there's a point, like, okay, some of that is true because maybe they are, certainly, because if time marches on, you are closer to the end of Joel Embiid's prime or the end of Joel Embiid's title opportunities because he's older, right? Like, it just makes sense in that regard. But to say it's the end just doesn't make sense because he's under contract for a number of years coming up. Tyrese Maxey's going to be under contract for a number of years. And as long as those two guys are here, I mean, we've talked about, you said it last week, like, you're of the camp that says we don't need another star. We need to just put the right pieces around these guys. And I think you and I both agree that some of those pieces were already here. And so you bring those guys in, and then you get some guys that you can get. Like, no, I get, like, I mean, how many years are we going to run this thing? And I said that last week too. But when you have those two pieces and they're locked, for a number of years, like, let's not throw it all out, right? Like, Tyrese is maybe not even in his prime yet, and Joel Embiid is certainly in the middle of his prime. So that's just kind of what I wanted to say. It's not, as much as we want to make it a make-or-break thing, like, it's an important offseason, but it's not the end of the world if they don't even get the job done this coming season. That's all I'm trying to say.
For a lot of people, their, I guess you could say, livelihood comes from trying to guess when the Sixers give up on Embiid or when Embiid gives up on the Sixers. Some people, for them, it's their ultimate thrill. They just can't.
Yeah.
They can't think about anything else besides for when is Embiid's time going to be up? When are the Sixers going to end it all? When is the process going to be over? Every offseason, is the process over? The Knicks ended the process. The Celtics ended the process. The Hawks in 2021 ended the process. That's all that people talk about.
Yeah.
And it's to, like you said, to one extent, yes. Okay, sure. Eventually, time is going to catch up with Joel Embiid. Injuries are going to finally take a toll on him, and he's just not going to be able to play at this level. But at the same time, we're not there yet. Clearly not there yet. So, in the back of our minds, it's easy to just say, oh, this is the last year. Embiid's getting hurt still. But Embiid hasn't gotten any more injured than he ever has in his career. Sure, he maybe missed the most amount of games, but at the same time, a lot of it was recovery. Not all of that was him actually being hurt. So, yes, he's getting hurt, but it's not really any more than he's been getting hurt. He missed a full season with, I guess it was, I forget his first ever injury in the draft that had him fall a few spots. Foot injury. That was the biggest injury of his career. He's never been more injured than that. Since that injury, he's never been more injured than that injury.
Yep.
So, sure, it's easy to just say, oh, this is his last year, this is the last time, the last go-around for the Sixers. We said that last year, and I think we probably said that the year before, too.
Yep.
In theory, there's some truth to it, but at the end of the day, time's rolling on, and Embiid's still playing super well.
Yeah.
And the Sixers are, they have the blueprint. I think I talked about it before. They have the blueprint. They know what they need to do, and Daryl Morey knows what he needs to do. He's a very smart guy. He understands what needs to be done, and they were on the right track this year. They were like 80% of the way there in terms of properly building around Embiid and Maxey now, especially, and getting pieces around them that fit, that complement their games, and can do and can sort of play off of them on both ends of the floor, specifically on offense, which is why you traded for Buddy Hield. So,
right, and you said it. A huge piece of that is Tyrese Maxey, because I don't think you or I would be sitting here saying what we're saying about, kind of pumping the brakes on like this is the most urgent thing in the world if it weren't for how Tyrese Maxey played this season. Now, I get this is a very important offseason, but the last offseason was important. The one before that was important. The one before that was important. This one might be the most unique in the sense of we don't know. I mean, there might be 5 new guys on this team that are contributors, or there might be one in, a big name, and then, some other guys that fill in around that. Like, we don't know exactly where they're going to go. But with as good as these 2 guys are, I mean, to say that it's this or not, like right now, is just like you're going for clicks. Like you just are.
Yeah, it's
because
literally
these guys are going to be on the team for a long time still. Like, and if you have them on your team, you have a chance to win.
A lot of the stuff, like you just said, I like how you mentioned that. A lot of it's for clicks. A lot of it is because people know that it's a hot topic, or not even that, but people know that it's on the minds of the fans, thinking, is this the last year for Embiid? Is this going to be it? They know it, and they capitalize off of it. And it still is frustrating because in the back of the minds of the people who are making these articles and posting these things, they know that it's not the end. But they want so badly for it to be the end so that they can get more clicks and people can be like, oh, you called it. You predicted it, the end of the Sixers. It's just a really sad cycle. And it's been going on for... Yeah, it's trendy. Right, exactly. It's been going on for a while now.
Yeah.
So...
It has. Anyway. That was not part of the plan at all, but we went there.
That's okay.
We did. So, like, the Sixers, again, interesting spot. Bunch of free agents. You think about guys like Kelly Oubre, you got Kyle Lowry, DeAnthony Melton, Buddy Hield, Nick Batum.
I forgot about Melton.
KJ Martin, Tobias Harris, who is at the end of his 5-year, $180 million. Almost choked right there, literally. $180 million. It was like there was something in my throat, genuinely. $180 million deal. And it's over, and he's a free agent. And now, again, like you mentioned, you mentioned that, we'll get into that in greater detail in coming weeks as we inch closer to when some things are going to play out. And then 2, we're going to tease it again just so people are getting ready for it. We will have a Tobias Harris episode, just breaking down his tenure in Philly. It will be a long episode. It's gonna be a lot. So make sure you keep on the lookout for that one coming in the coming weeks. We'll talk about his whole tenure. We'll talk about Tobias. To me, is a guy who, like there's guys like who have an impact beyond the box score, like a Kyle Lowry or like a PJ Tucker. Tobias Harris is not one of those guys. Like Tobias Harris.
I knew you were going to say that.
You look at his numbers, right? You look at his numbers, and it's like, yep, that's what he did tonight. So, like, I think when we look at his 5-year career, right, like it's going to tell the tale, and so I think it will be helpful for us. But a little teaser for that. Be on the lookout for that, and then again, obviously, kind of breaking down these free agents. But if you want to give any like kind of tease to where we're going to go next week or the week after. Like, how do you kind of see this whole thing playing out? I mean, there's some guys. I told you I was choking. I need water. There's some guys that we don't know who's going to be here, who's not. Like, how do you?
Yeah.
What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, decisions going to have to be made. Daryl Morey in his exit interview said, "We know we're not going to be able to get everybody back. We'd like to, but we're not going to be able to. Number of reasons. Guys are going to get more money." The Sixers are going to have to overpay for some guys probably to get them back. Probably Melton. Maybe, hopefully not Oubre, because I'm not overpaying for Oubre. Daryl Morey's smart. I trust him fully. But some guys are not going to be back here. Who they will be is gonna have to. We're gonna have to wait and see. Probably about when does free agency start? End of June. About a month and a bit to see who comes back and who doesn't. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be an interesting offseason. We don't, like I said, and Troy said too. We have a couple episodes, including we're gonna do more of an off-season preview. This is kind of like an intro to the off-season.
Mm-hmm.
We could make that the title if you want, honestly.
Yeah.
This is kind of our intro to the off-season. We're gonna have a full off-season breakdown. We're gonna have a free agency episode like we've done a free agency episode every year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, free agency episode before and after. We're gonna have our Tobias Harris episode. So I don't want to say too much because I want to keep some material for. I mean, I don't really run out of material, honestly. I could talk all day.
Yeah, you've been doing this. You've been doing this.
Yeah. So there's that. But at the same time, I also want to keep things as fresh as possible. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be an interesting offseason. Some guys. Nick Batum might retire. If he retires, I'll be upset.
Yeah.
I won't lie to you. But if he retires, it wouldn't shock me. So that's one guy you lose. Not even in free agency, just off of the. You're not getting him back. He's not playing anymore. He's retiring. He's old. No offense.
Yeah.
It's time. Like I saw something that he was going to retire last year.
Okay.
So
yeah, he could.
I'm glad he didn't. But two, he might now this year. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. No, I think that's it. Short episode, but again, we set the bar a little bit. Let the people know what's going on over the next coming weeks. We got a month and a half till free agency opens, and so I think what Michael and I would both agree on too is just like, again, a lot of articles you can click on in the next month and a half, a lot of rumors swirling around, a lot of things that just don't have any basis at all. So just be careful what you read. We think we can provide a reliable source here on Planet 76, so you can trust us and the input.
And that's the thing too. Like with our platform, for how long we've been doing this, information that comes from us, we don't have no connections to the NBA, but information that comes from us, is reliable. We have nothing to gain from giving you fake information. And fake, just crap hot takes. Like, sometimes we do that, but just for fun. So, at the end of the day, you have to really watch what you are reading and consuming in the offseason, especially. I think I've said this every year. You have to watch out for what you're consuming in the offseason. Reading, listening to, watching. You have to be very careful because a lot of times people will fall for rumors, reports, and they're just speculation based on some small bit of information.
Yep.
People often see that and they're like, whoa, LeBron James is getting traded. And then the information that they come up with was from an article saying LeBron had a fight with a trainer. It's just, you gotta be really careful. Like, they somehow take that and then twist it into LeBron's getting traded. You have to be careful. You have to be very careful, especially when it comes to Sixers, because the Sixers are oftentimes a very big topic in overall NBA news circles, because there's always drama surrounding the Sixers. Of course, there's always stuff going on with the Sixers. You got to be careful in the offseason. You have to watch out for what you listen to and consume. Some of these Philly reporters don't actually know what they're talking about. Not saying I do, because, again, we have no connection to the NBA. But what I'm saying is that you have to do your due diligence, and you have to be careful of what you read online. This applies to life in general, but specifically the Sixers. The Sixers, since we're a Sixers podcast, of course, and just happy offseason.
That's right. No, well said.
That's it.
Well said, you guys. Especially this time of year. This time of year. Because, again, while other teams are playing basketball right now, we're just trying to, people are trying to create something, and so they're going to
We're in Cancun right now.
That's right. I wish. But yeah, for sure. So, again, that's kind of the scoop on the Sixers right now, and hopefully that provides something for you guys as watchers, or watching and listening. Just the fact that, all right, well, lots going to happen in the next coming weeks, coming off season, and we don't know what it's going to be, to be to be quite honest with you. So we'll be along with the ride with you, and we'll be producing content all off season to give you the scoop as it continues to sort out as we inch closer to free agency and all that's going to come with the Sixers only having 4 guys currently under contract. So it's going to be wild, but we'll be here for it. We'll see you next time for 150 next. That's pretty cool. This is episode 149. We'll see you next time on episode 150. You just listened to an episode of the Planet 76 podcast. Hey, we appreciate you joining us for this episode. Whatever platform you're on, why don't you hit that subscribe button for us, and we'll see you next time.